All right, welcome back. We're up and running. This is Market Day Report, and the markets are open. Let's see how we've got everything moving right now and see if any of it's in our direction. Let's take a look at corn. Corn was up a couple of cents overnight, and we've given that back and then some already. Boy, oh boy, we cannot find a bid here. July's down 2 1/4 cents. 4.44 is last. That's a penny and 4.43 3/4 is now last. That's a penny off the low of the day, and we're well off the highs that we set overnight by about what's that going to be? Let's see, for 5 1/4 cents. Z's corn, that's the new crop, 1 3/4 cents lower there to 4.65 1/4. All right. Beans were down about 7 cents overnight. Now they're down 9 1/4 cents. 11.95 3/4 is last in July, and that's about what 4 3/4 cents off the low of the day and well off the highs by about a dime. You can go out to the Novi new crop, 9 1/4 cents lower there. 11.75 1/4 is last. That's a penny and a half off the low of the day and a dime off the highs. That's not good. All right, let's move on to the wheat. This is where we saw the big gains, and we've given about a dime of the big gains back already. July is only up 5 1/4 cents to 6.83 3/4. Wow, folks. But I guess the good news is we're 6 cents off the low of the day. Go out to the D, that's up 7 cents to 7.30 1/2, and again, that's about 7 cents, just under 6 3/4 cents off the low of the day there. That's Chicago wheat. Hard red wheat in Kansas City, and it'll have some gains, but not as much. 9 cents higher there. 7.17 3/4 is last, and that's about a 6 1/4 cents off the low of the day. And we're going to call that about 10 3/4 cents off the high of the day. Dees, that's up 7 3/4 cents to 7.49 1/2, 5 1/2 cents off the low. And we're going to call that 10 3/4 cents off of the high. Moving from the hard red in Kansas City to the spring wheat in Minneapolis, 9 cents higher there to 7.48 3/4. And again, that's about 10 3/4 cents off the low of the day, 7 cents off the high. Dees, that's up 10 cents to 7.74 3/4. 4 3/4 cents off the low, and about 6 cents off the high there. And then finally, did we get anything better in that cotton market? We cannot get that going. Nope. 114 points lower right now there to 75.01. And that's 17 cents from the low of the day there. All right, or 17 points. All right, let's bring him back in. That's Mr. Dewey Strickler. Or bring him in. Good morning, Mr. Strickler. Happy month of June to you there. What's top of mind? What do you think?
Well, we've turned the calendar to June here, Scott, so we're starting to look at some of the summer weather and so forth. And the reason that these markets are down, first of all, corn planting is wrapping up. Maybe a little slow to wind down here. We got a few showers in the forecast around midweek, but we will get it done. Trade's going to be looking at the ratings here. And, other than that, there's really not any threatening weather here for longer term. So, that's why these markets are just headed lower here right now on corn and soybeans. Wheat's a little bit different. We still got some weather woes here in Russia, and wheat technically looks like it could make one more new high before it really has a hard sell-off.
All right, what's going to be the next bit of bullish news that's going to rally this market? I mean, we've already seen the funds cover, and actually the commitment of traders tells us that, at least for corn, they started to sell some more last week. What are your thoughts there? I mean, what's going to be the next drop? I mean, are we going to have to wish our lives away till the end of June and get something out of that report, maybe?
Well, maybe you might wish yours away, but anyway, we do not have a big short position in the grains here by the funds right now. So, that said, what it's going to take, exports are pretty well flat, and it's going to take something out of weather. And right now, there's just nothing on the horizon here in weather that's going to bump these markets higher here.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you're playing cards, we've already played the funds cover their shorts card, and I think the joker would be the weather, right? So you don't know if that's going to be something that's going to help us out or not. And so the other one is going to have to be demand. But you've got to be a little bit concerned that we haven't seen any action from the Chinese and new crop beans.
I'm not surprised by that at all, really, because historically, you see exports in China usually peaks around the first week, second week of November. You pretty well put it on your calendar. And generally, the pace of exports will fall close to sometimes over 90% from that peak. So, right now we're down about 96% from there. So, hey, I'm not surprised what's going on.
Well, I mean, obviously there's other issues probably at play there a little bit too. So we'll have to. That's another one. It's cliche, and I hate saying it, but it seems like with the weather and geopolitical issues and what's been happening with Russia and Ukraine, so it's one of those time will tell things. And I hate to use that term, but that seems like where we're at right now. All right. So stay right there. We're going to go away. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to come back and talk livestock with me right after this. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about some livestock, right? Why don't we see what we've got going on over there now that we're up and running? We had to wait for Friday's close or after Friday's close. Let's see what we've done on Monday morning's open. Live cattle are doing nothing. They're not giving me much to talk about, are they, folks? June's down a nickel, 181.50. I guess that's 15 cents off the low of the day there. We haven't even had a dollar range. We haven't even had, well, just 62-cent range is what we've had. Boy, oh boy. August is down 30 cents to 178.15. Let's go out to the D's, sharply unchanged, 184.65. So we had a, 47-cent range in D's. Nothing's going on. Let's move along here. Let's see what's going on in feeder cattle. Pretty much the same, steady, a little bit easier, I guess, if I had to put a label on it. August feeders are down 32 cents to 256.07. And that's 22 cents off the low of the day there. And we've had an all right range, I guess. For this time of the morning, about $1.50. Let's move out to say even in November, that's down 25 cents to 258.60. That's live cattle and feeders. Let's move over to the lean hogs and see if that's got anything going for us. And this one's another one not telling us doesn't know what it wants to do either. June's down one tick to 94.32. Both July and August were up. Here we go. Now June's sharply unchanged at 94.35, and July and August are still higher. 20 cents better in July, 97.32. Let's bring him back in. Maybe he can tell us what's going on. That's Mr. Dewey Strickler. He's with AgWatch Market Advisors. Dewey, what's going on? Nothing? What do you have to say?
Like watching paint dry, Scott. That pretty well sums it up. One thing that did catch my attention here in the meats, and that is the dine-in restaurant traffic in May saw a downtick here. So, some of these prices that we've been looking at here for beef, especially the higher end cuts, looks like we're going to start seeing demand begin to slow down for that. We are looking at stagflation here. Growth is down, but inflation is still, creeping higher here, and that's just having an impact all the way around with consumers on not necessarily, the meats in particular, but everything, that they are looking to purchase. It's been put on credit card, and it's starting to have an impact.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. And the consumer is about 70% of the economy. And if they start to slow down, I mean, look, you mentioned it in the first thing you started to say there, that these restaurants are struggling. And I saw a long list over the weekend of a lot of them that have gone out of business already in the last, say, 6 months. So there's definitely something moving out there. And we're trying to keep it all together here. But we'll have to wait and see if the Band-Aids and the duct tape comes off the economy that we've got it all put together with. We have a situation where we do have a stubborn inflation, and we have a situation where we've got a GDP, our gross domestic product, we're slowing about the things we're making. So our economy is slowing. We have steady to maybe even slightly rising inflation, depending on what metrics you look at. So boy, oh boy, we better not lose any jobs, because if we do, that's full-blown stagflation. Last 20 seconds to you.
Well, I agree with that. The big problem we have is with government spending here. And we've got about a $35 trillion debt. We're looking at tax revenue about $4.6 trillion. About 22% of that goes paying the interest payments. So, it's going to be a rough road ahead.
Yeah, I agree. All right, appreciate you coming on. Happy Monday morning to you. Mr. Dewey Strickler, he's with AgWatch Market Advisors. Bring it back home.
Talking about those interest rates, they're just killing people right now, and that's been mainstay.
Well, you're young, but I'm old, right? And the interest rate today with the Fed funds rate is 5.25 to 5.5. I mean, I remember getting one of my first mortgages at 7.8%, back in the day, and they've been a lot higher than that before. Mm-hmm. So when you get used to zero,
exactly, or 2%, 3%, we're just not used to it.
Right.